Hi, I'm Julie. Welcome back to Hobby Maker's YouTube channel. Today I'm going to take you back to basics with card making. So we're going to make a very quick and simple card. So if you've never done this before, it will show you technique that you can use that then will hopefully inspire you to go on and make some cards yourself. So I've got a few essential items. I've got a pre-scored card blank. This is 8x8. I've got some scissors, some double-sided tape, my pokey tool, and then I've got pattern paper and some cardstock in coordinating colours. So if I just show you those, I've picked myself a lilac, a pale blue, and this really pretty floral design, and they will work together, and I will teach you what mats and layers are and how we incorporate those into our card making. What I like to do is when I've got a pre-scored card blank, so like I say this one's 8x8, I tend to reduce my paper and card mat and layers down in 1/4 of an inch size. So if I've got an 8x8 card, my first layer would be 7 3/4. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. So if you've never seen one of these before, this opens out and it is 12x12. It's got a little locking feature on the back, which I'm just going to click across because then that keeps it flat for us. I've got my inches this side and my centimetres, so whichever you work in, the trimmer is handy for you. So like I say, because I'm doing an 8-inch card, I'm going to work on my inch side. So I'm going to bring in my pale blue first, and I'm going to cut this at 7 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches. And you just run this blade along. You've got your cutting line there. Just pop your excess to one side, and then we just rotate the cardstock and we do the same to 7 3/4. The next piece I'm going to bring in is my lilac colour. This one I'm going to do at 7.5. I'm going to rotate that again and do it at 7.5 again. I'm just going to hold this up before I go any further, just to show you what I mean by mats and layers, because it's something that you'll hear when people talk about card making, but you might be thinking, what is this? I don't understand. So if I just hold this up for you, you'll see how I've got almost like steps in between my cardstock. This is what a mat and layer is. So basically it's layering on top of itself, but it's creating a layer each time you do that. So that's like my basic card with my 2 layers of cardstock on the top. I've gone ahead and cut myself a piece of pattern paper, a mat behind that I'm then going to stick on top. So if I just hold that for a second and show you, so you'll see my mats and layers. And like I say, you can change the size in between them. You can have a bigger gap if you want to. It's just personal choice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick down my first 2 mat and layers, and then I'm just going to bring in then my pattern papers and some toppers to show you how I would position things first till I'm happy with my design, and then I then stick down. So I'm going to use some double-sided tape. I'm going to give you a top tip as we go along if you've never used tape before. If you just stick it down onto the back of your card, do this on all 4 sides. Again, at this stage you can really use whatever choice of adhesive you like. If you're somebody that prefers a glue, you can glue down your mat and layers. I just prefer to use a double-sided tape. So I'm going to do that on the back of both of my pieces of coloured card. What I'm going to do, I'm now going to bring in my pokey tool, which, if you remember me saying at the beginning, was handy for lifting, backing off adhesives or foam pads. What I would do, if you're starting for the first time, it is a top tip, and you've never put a layer down before, if you just use your pokey tool to just lift the very corner of your tape and do that on all 4 sides. I'll hold it up just to show you in a second. If I just get it so it's right in the right position. What this enables you to do then, if you stick it down and you feel like it's a little bit crooked or you haven't quite got it in the position you want it, rather than pulling the whole piece of the tape off and it's completely stuck down to your card, you'll see just by lifting those corners off, majority of your tape is still covered. So if you do need to pull it off, you've still got that flexibility to be able to do that. So then all we need to do then is just pop that down. And if you just sort of like hover over your card blank, that also then gives you an idea of where to just sort of press down. I'm just going to do that, and then I'm going to hold it up for you just so you can see. So that now is stuck in the position I want it to, but then if I then pull this tab and just press that down, that's now secured that in place. And you do that on all 4 sides, it would just then take away the worry if you're doing this for the first time and you're not sure about sticking it straight down onto your card. So that's created my first layer. Then I'm going to do the same process with the second layer. So there you go, I've just done that and secured it in place. And then what I'm going to do next is bring in my piece of card and my pattern paper layer, and I'm just going to sort of place that down. I'm not going to secure anything, because like another top tip I'd give you is lay things out where you want them rather than stick it down to start with, because sometimes you might change your mind on the position of something. If I show you roughly, you can have it straight like that, but you might want to sort of like create something different and sort of like rotate your card so your design's more like that. You can have a play at this point. I've stuck my mats and layers down now, so you'll just see how that fit onto my card. So the next thing I'm going to do is bring in another layer of coordinating card and my pattern paper. So I'm just going to, I've already put my tape on the back of these, so I'm just going to quickly stick those down. And again, you can do these whatever size you want. As we go along with the tutorials for card making, which we're going to do on this YouTube channel, we'll bring in cutting dies, which you get nesting dies, so they can create different shapes to create your mats and layers. Please join us on this journey, because we'll be giving you lots of hopefully tips and inspiration to get your creativity flowing. So I'm just going to pop that one down and then just stick my pattern paper on top. And if you notice, I don't know, top tip, I always try to sort of get one, normally the one that's close to me, that sort of edge stuck down so I can line it up, and then I just sort of like press away from myself. I find it doing that way makes it easier for me to line up that mat onto the layer underneath. So if I just hold that up for you again, so that just shows you that's the base of your card. So that is just a simple card blank with your mats and layers on the top. The next thing we're going to do, you'll hear something called a topper. So a topper is an embellishment or a focal point that you're going to bring into your card. So this can be something that's already cut out for you, or if I just show you in the paper pad, as well as papers, it has these sort of tags and toppers. So I've just cut one of those out, which I've got here, which I'm then going to make that the center point of my card. I've already cut myself some coordinating mat and layers, which I'm going to pop together. But this time what I'm going to do, for my bottom layer, I'm going to pop some of my double-sided tape down. But then for my next 2 layers, I'm going to bring in some double-sided foam tape, or you could use double-sided foam pads. These are really nice when you're creating a focal point on your card, because they lift up your design and give your card some sort of like depth and dimension, and I think they just it adds a little something. I'm going to pop down my first layer flat. I'm just going to pop that into the center of my card, and then what I'm going to do with these 2 then, like I say, I've got some double-sided foam on a roll, so I'm going to pop myself just some on top and bottom edge, and I'm going to do the same on my topper, and then I'm just going to pop this down now. So I've lined it here, and then just going to press that down, and then I'm going to do the same with the topper. So if you see now, can you see how that's give it some dimension? So it just sort of makes your center point of your card stand out a little bit more. And that really is how you would put a basic card together if you've never done it before. There's just, you know, all I've literally used is paper and cardstock there and just some foam tape just to give it a bit of a lift. What we can do then, if you want to, is you'll also come across things called embellishments. So these are things sort of like gems. Ribbon is an embellishment. You get die cut elements. So I've just got a couple here just to show you. So these are what I mean by a die cut. It's just something that's already cut for you, but you use it to decorate and embellish your card. So I'm just going to pop a couple of flowers on this now, just to show you how you can take it from just very plain and simple to a little bit more interesting if you want to. So again, I'm just going to take a little bit of my foam on a roll. I'm just going to cut myself a few pieces just to stick onto the back of these flowers. You'll see that they will then it will just make them sort of stand out from the topper. And you can, like I say, play around at this point, pop things down without taking the back off if you want to, just to make sure you've got them in the position you want to. And then I'm going to bring in some of my gems, and again I'm using my pokey tool because this is great for picking these up. And I'm just going to pop myself a couple of gems just in the centre of my flowers, just as a little extra something, just to give it a little sparkle. And then I'm just going to pop a couple of gems just down the one edge of my card, just for a little extra element. If I turn that round to you, then you'll just see how just adding those couple of things on now has just again given that another extra lift and just added a bit more interest into the card. So that just shows you how quick and easy it is to do something like this. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we will be coming up with more different card designs for inspiration for you.